Hello, hello, hello. Welcome or welcome back to Lilies and Tomatoes. Tonight we are talking about your first fall frost date. So I'm going to show you two ways to figure out what that is: an easy way and a hard way. The hard way is for people who want to geek out on information about their garden. The easy way is for people who just want a quick answer. If we have not met yet, my name is Quincy Adams, and I want to help you grow some of your own food in a small space on a budget. Let's get started. Okay, so first, the easy way is Google. So what I did, and I have a bunch of tabs for you guys because this is slow when I'm streaming, but I just Googled first frost and my zip code. And you can see I've got multiple options on here for information. And this top one gives me a number right here on the screen, on the home screen of Google. But this is not the number that I'm going to go with. And I will show you why. So this first one is from the Plant Maps website. This has a lot of good information on it. And it says my average first frost is between November 1st and November 10th. And it gives a whole bunch of other information on here. But since I've been living here, the first frost has gotten later and later and later every year. So I want something that's a little bit more detailed in information. It also doesn't tell me where they're getting their information. And it doesn't tell me how old this information is. So here's a fun fact. Your frost dates change. That data is updated every 10 years. And it was actually updated this year in May. So this information, this gives me a good starting place, but it doesn't tell me where the data was pulled from, how long ago the data was pulled, and it doesn't tell me what my closest climate station is, which is what I want to know for the hard way. So I'm going to check this other website. This is on garden.org. This actually shows you a range of data. This is how the information is presented by NOAA. That's the National Oceanic Atmospheric not Association. Anyway, NOAA. They are the ones who collect the data, and they publish it every 10 years. So this is the format that they publish it in. But when I'm looking for the first fall frost, so this is fall, temperature 32 degrees. A frost is when the temperature is 32 degrees. The 30% date, which is what most websites will give you. If they just give you a date, they're giving you the 30% date. This says November 7th. So this is not the number that I'm looking for either, or not the date that I'm looking for either. So if you're just looking for a quick answer, I recommend that you pick the Farmer's Almanac, because even though this is giving me November 10th, it tells me my nearest climate station. The nearest climate station is a piece of information that I need to pull the data from NOAA myself the hard way. So this tells me that Washington Reagan Airport in Virginia is my closest climate station. And I did a little deep digging another time, and I know this is the closest climate station that has weather similar to mine. There is another climate station closer to my house, but that climate station does not have weather that is similar to mine because it's at a much higher elevation. So the Farmer's Almanac will give you the altitude of where you're at, your last spring frost, your first fall frost, your frost-free growing season, and your climate station. So if you're just going to Google it, I recommend that you just go straight for the Farmer's Almanac to get that climate station information. Now, to do this the hard way, what you want to do is go to the U.S. Climate Normals webpage. This is on the this is the NOAA National Centers for Environmental Information webpage. Oh, administration. I knew I was close. I will put a link to this in the comments after, in case you want to do this the hard way. So what you want to do is you go to this Climate Normals webpage. You click on Quick Access. you go to annual, seasonal for the year group that you want. So I want from 1991 to 2020. And then I'm going to pick my state. I'm actually going to pick the state of my climate station, which is Virginia. And then I'm going to scroll down here until I find the name of my climate station, which is the Washington Reagan Airport. Now that I've got the Washington Reagan Airport data pulled up, I'm going to click on PDF. And then this is the summary of annual normals for my climate station for the years 1991 to 2020. Now, what I have on here now, freeze dates for fall, temperature 32 degrees, it's going to tell me that there's a 10% chance that I'm going to have my first fall freeze by November 5th. There's a 20% chance that it's going to be by November 11th. There's a 30% chance that it's going to be by November 12th, which is, if you're looking at a website that just gives a date, it's going to be probably this 30% date. There's a 40% chance that it'll be by November 15th, 50% chance by the 18th, and so on. And then based on these numbers, it's also going to tell me my first spring freeze, and it's going to tell me the days of my frost-free period. So this is the hard way. You can download this. You can keep this. If you really want to geek out on garden information, that you definitely want to download this piece of paper, because it's going to give you a lot of information for your spring frost and your fall frost at different temperatures. So if you want to go by the temperatures of the hardiness of your plants, you can say, okay, well, I know my first freeze is going to be on around November 12th, but what everything in my garden can survive temperatures of 24 degrees. So then I'm like, okay, well, that means that I've got till December 11th. There's a 30% chance that by December 11th, I will have a 24-degree day or night. So that's how you use this chart. This is the hard way. The easy way is to get the information from the Farmer's Almanac. This does tell you that they pulled their information from 1981 to 2010, but they're telling you which climate normal they pulled this data from, and they tell you the nearest climate station, so you can go pull your own data if you want to. So, are there any questions on how you find your first fall frost date? You either Google it, that's the easy way, and get it from the Farmer's Almanac, or you go to the Farmer's Almanac and get your nearest climate station, and then you go to, oh, I already backed away from that site. You go to the climate data site, and you pull that information, and then you end up with a PDF that you can download. So that's it. You definitely want to make sure you know your first fall frost date. If you are planting a fall garden, your fall garden is planted in the summertime, but you want to make sure that most things that are not frost or most things are close to maturity by the first fall frost date. So you can make sure that you're going to get a harvest. If you're growing things that are likely to survive a frost, then it's not going to matter. So things like lettuce and kale and cabbages, those are survived past the first 32-degree day or night, but and will go significantly further in temperature. So if you're in a zone 7, you can definitely grow some kinds of kale all winter long. You're going to want to cover things that are more tender or sensitive to shifts in temperature, like lettuce, but you don't have to have a full greenhouse. You can just cover those with plastic or some frost fabric. So you don't have to go all out to have things growing in the winter. You just need to make sure that they are established and outside before the temperatures drop too far. I don't see any questions, so I will let you guys go from there. Have a good night. Bye.